nobody's going to hear that.
Oh, okay, sorry. Click let it know. Sorry. Okay, we're live now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hello, everybody.
Hello,
Well,
guys.
yeah.
This is the second edition of addition with excuse me addition with Tyron Fountain exposed the manosphere. Um, hello, Tyron.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Please can you introduce yourself again to the space?
Oh, yeah, just exposing me out here again. I had a YouTube channel for over a year, and yeah, it's going to come to an end soon because I'm getting fatigue.
Yeah, yeah. I do feel that way at times. Especially
Yeah,
with this. Yeah.
yeah, the
Go on.
platform is very tiring. I think the average person on the platform only lasts for like a year or two, or maybe like 3 years. I think the average.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of people I used to watch, and then they just disappear from the face of the earth, and it's like they got burnt out.
True. And and now with the way things are going, how do you see the space and or the sphere in 5 years time?
That's a good. Sorry, that's a good question.
Okay.
5 years from now, I see a part of it. I think it's going to be like it was 5 years ago. There's going to be new people. They're going to be talking about the same issues, and I mean, there definitely will be people from the space who will be doing something else. But I don't really see it progressing any further, especially if people are living vicariously through Kevin Samuels.
Why true? The, the guy seems to wield a lot of power, like within the
Yeah, the whole time slots stuff
yeah,
and
yeah,
whatnot.
exactly.
I, I
And ultimatum of the stuff like once Kevin Samuels is on live, no one is on live. That kind of like it's almost like a demigod, you know,
Yeah,
something
I
like that.
agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that part. But yeah, it's kind of hard to say 5 years from now because the space doesn't really
Mm,
have concrete plans and future
true.
goals. So I don't know. I mean, there is like a meetup that's current next month in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll be kind of interested to see how that turns out.
I've always thought about this guy, Kevin Samuels' right hand man, O'Shea Dick Jackson. Like
Mhm.
he's going off on content creators, and as of recent, he's now praising pygmies, or I don't know what to call them, pygmies, or I, you
Are you
know,
talking about that Brittany Renner chick?
no, Melanie King and the other ladies, the content
Jessica
creators that
Jessica.
yes, those ones that worship Kevin Samuels. He dropped a video yesterday, you know, uh, saying that he sims for them because they're looking out for the black manosphere. But the same guy, O'Shea, goes off his way to trash other black content creators and calls them no talent and other stuff.
Oh yeah, he does that on live streams that he airs like odd times in the morning. I mean, if you live in the UK, you can see him, but if you live in the States, they just come on like at 4 o'clock in the morning, because
Oh,
he's in Uganda, and that's when he takes them down immediately afterwards.
oh,
Oh, he didn't know that. He's been doing that for years. It's called the O'Shea Vlogcast. That's where he posts his videos, and he does trash talk a lot of people that he claims that he's cool with, and but they said they occur like at odd times in the morning if you live in the States.
oh, oh. No, I live in Nigeria.
Oh, Nigeria. Yeah, so the time zone shouldn't be radical, not as far as where I'm at. So
Oh,
I don't know how many time zones there is in the continent of Africa. North America,
I
there
think,
are 4 time
I think,
zones.
yeah, I
My
think it's
bad,
that.
5.
I think it's around four so because Uganda and Nigeria should be around like an hour or 2 hours difference.
Oh,
That
okay.
range. And O'Shea, he travels a lot. I think he lives in Poland, but he
Yeah, I
travels
think
to
so right now.
another place. Yeah,
Yeah, he lived in Uganda for a while, and he tried to do the same kind of content, but I don't. A friend of mine from the Netherlands said he didn't really have much respect for the local culture because you can't like sexualize women in other countries.
yes,
It just
yeah,
doesn't really fly the same way. But yeah, it's just really not showing a lot lack of respect for cultural norms.
yeah. And I noticed that he avoids the local culture and only tries to talk about at least the black women from
Mhm.
Africa, but he doesn't talk about the Polish level ladies.
Oh, he said he's not really into white women. He's only attracted to black women. That's why.
Yeah,
Although you live in, even though living in a majority white country, that's kind of a little odd. But okay.
I know that. That's why I keep saying stuff like I won't be I, I won't be surprised if he's tricking with white women over there because he's in a
I don't
country
really
where
care.
because of because he kind of attacks men that date out a lot. Like he does that a lot and says that you can't be pro black and date outside the race. That it's a threshold stuff or something like that. Like
Mhm.
there's some BS stuff, but but at the same time he studies at a white majority nation
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and he lives there, and he uses their currency, but even though there's an exchange dollar rate, but he still lives over there. So I don't understand how he's pro uh, black, but still he lives in a majority
He
white.
went there for medical school. That's why.
Yeah,
So, but I don't know. I said I wouldn't mind living outside the United States, but it would just have to be temporary.
yeah. But do you find it like odd? Like he talks about he's against interracial relationships, but he lives in a country that's not majority.
No, I don't see anything. It would only be hypocritical if he like was against interracial dating, but dated out himself.
Hmm.
That's the only hypocrisy. Because there is a history of YouTube of like people proclaiming to be pro-black and they date
Yeah.
interracially, which I'm like okay, but a lot of people just call that hypocritical. And they try to do that
Hmm.
to me, even though I never claimed to be pro-black, so I didn't really get that. And I said from the
Yeah.
get-go that I don't care who I date.
Or did you? I saw that. What's his name again? Marcus. I think he was saying
Oh,
that you were dating.
Marcus 912.
Yes. Yeah.
Marquise, my bad,
Marcus.
Marquise.
Yeah, and Solo also dropped a couple of statements in his old videos that you were dating. I think he said
A-
the five
Asian.
Asian girl, something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, my ex is
That,
from Hong Kong. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, it was kind of weird because
that's
when I always said I never cared who I dated, but
true.
they try to paint a narrative that I was like this pro-black guy. So it was kind of bizarre. It was kind of like a nothing burger. I thought about making a parody video about it because it was just so stupid, but I never got a chance
True.
to do it.
They, it's this mindset because they feel that because you're defending black women when whenever they're bashing black women, so they're not trying to make it seem like you're pro black. Yeah.
Yep, that's how
Yeah.
it's kind of like on YouTube. People have to categorize you when it comes to criticism because if you fall out of their category, they just have a hard time putting you in a particular theoretical framework. And it's just in an effort to assume that they know everything that you stand for.
True. True. I was called a simpler. Yeah, I was. um, especially when I was defending her um Carolina against Tandy. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the Black Pillars? I think they're back. I saw them doing a live stream yesterday. I mean, I tuned in for like a minute, but that was really it.
Oh, I've never been there stream since 3 months now or so, or
Okay,
almost.
yeah, they're doing those long Saturday night streams, which it
Yeah.
confuses me because I'm like, I like to go out on Saturday or hang out with friends. I can see during the pandemic that's totally understandable, but I don't see why anybody would do that now.
I guess it's because they don't go out much. Probably they're always at home or something.
That's what I think. It's kind of YouTube is kind of sad when you like look behind the scenes of some content creators.
True. True.
Yeah, I don't know what is about YouTube and attraction of people who I don't want to say failures, but people who just don't have much going on in their actual lives. I don't know. Like it seems like the two are pretty inextricable. It just attracts, or maybe I don't think something about YouTube. It might be just something about this space of people who are socially isolated, who gravitate to form these online communities, these friendships that aren't real or even
Yeah.
sustainable, realistically
Yeah.
speaking.
True. Kind of reminds me of Instagram or Twitter. Like once, like let's take now the lady from high school or college. Because she didn't, because she's not uh popular. And once you start dropping pictures of your selfies, you start getting validation of guys praising now because normally guys ignored you during high school and all.
Hmm.
So the so the that so the knowledge of what the black pill is like or red pill is that people are not agreeing with what you're saying, and normally people usually trash you down because they think like you're the loser of the group or the school. So once these guys are getting a validation from other men and they're praising them, saying, "Oh, we must protect this guy," or "This guy is the best of the best. We must protect him at all costs."
Hmm.
There's there's this sense of I don't know if it's like a superiority complex, but inside is like there's an inferiority complex. So they get too defensive, especially when you criticize their views you or you're being objective. I see that a lot with the red pill a lot.
Hmm.
Kind of reminds me of those Instagram models or Twitter. I don't want to say soccer moms or I don't. It kind of reminds me of them. Like their word is the final say, and once you disagree with them, or you're a misogynist, or if it's for the guys, you're a simp, or you're a
Yeah,
better.
that's the weird thing. A lot of the guys, they repeat the same behaviors that they claim to be critical of. They say stuff like
Absolutely.
woman is emotional, but they're very emotional. They claim that, their critics can't make counter arguments. They just hurl insults, but they do the same exact thing. It's
True.
they're like their
True.
own worst enemies if you're being honest.
True. I see that a lot with Solo and Toshe. They get too emotional when they get when they're worked up. And there's this stuff now that Kevin Samuels is put on the pedestal. Like it's it's kind of growing though, but I'm
Hmm.
seeing more female content creators. That's um uh that's that's something that kind of intrigues me, but also disturbs me,
Wait,
especially when
you
I
talking about female creators in the manosphere?
yes, yeah,
That's
yeah,
not new. It's interesting because I have a video. It's kind of finished. I just can't upload it because Adobe upgraded the software.
hmm
But there's always been women in the gender war who supported men. That's not even new.
yeah. There's a lady, Melinda King. She deleted all her videos a while ago, but now she's back and she's dropping new videos. Uh, but she's putting her on the pedestal, like making it seem like she's the next upcoming star because she's a light skinned African American woman that has a kind of sandy blonde hair
What's
or something.
what's her name again? Because I don't follow the manosphere as much as I used to.
Melanie King.
Millennia King
Yeah. Yeah. Melania King. Yeah.
or Melania King? I'm trying to see. Oh, you mean Melania King official? Yeah,
Oh,
she's. I'm looking
oh,
her up
well,
now. Yeah, she's an attractive woman, but I don't know what she stands for.
she
Oh, she has like
basically
262,000 subscribers. That's a lot.
yes, yeah. She deleted all her videos, so like she started uploading again last week or something like that, or a few days ago. Toshe has been a popular. Her views are based on Kevin Samuels' views. Like she claimed that everything she does is what Kevin is actually Kevin that enlightened her, or Kevin that is one that brought her to the space or something. So
Mhm.
everything they do kind of it gravitates or topics around Kevin Samuels. Even though when Kevin was, I don't want to say a nobody, or when he was still up there, like but not really up there, no one talked about him. But after he trashed that pet store toner, everyone is saying, "Oh, Kevin this, Kevin's word is the is the final say." It kind of shows how hollow they are, their views and perspective, because it's all based on numbers and traffic, something like that. Because Kevin Samuels, no one talked about him last year October or that much till he
Was till he
crashed.
blew up.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, if I was Kevin Samuels, I would really think hard about like how I let these people in, because once he falls, or once he gets banned or something, he's going to
That won't
right away.
happen. What's going to happen is so talk about like ban or fall off. What's really going to happen is that over time, as with every YouTuber, no matter how many subscribers they have, his
The
views
guy,
are going to gradually drop.
true,
Because when it comes to this whole gender war stuff, people go to what's trending. So yeah, he actually doesn't even get the same amount of views as he did a couple months ago, or probably like a year ago.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think a lot of that's related to the pandemic. So no, he'll always maintain an audience, but it
yeah,
won't be at the same level at its peak. So that's why he hasn't been like jumping into subscribers as he did like last year. Um,
Yeah,
so no, yeah, he'll still be around. He'll still be recognized, but people are going to gravitate to who's ever like trending, and somebody else will eventually take his spot. Yeah, this happens
true.
all the time. You think like Tommy Sotomayor is nowhere near as popular
Oh,
as he used to be.
yeah.
Steve Harvey used to give dating advice. Of course, he doesn't do it as much as he used to. So
Mm-hmm.
there's Derek Jackson, etc. There's a lot of people like that.
Even Kyber and Pitch, they're not as high as they used to be right now, but they're still
Apple
up
and
there.
Preach. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, no
I,
YouTuber maintains like all of their views from their subscriber over the average YouTuber gets like 10% of their subscriber number in terms of the views they get.
mhm. But also, it's still the same.
Is that
Like
what?
um, like uh, like the numbers of subs they get is still the same. Kyber and Pitch.
They're pretty consistent to be honest.
I know. I noticed that I don't want to say Panda, but their views kind of change a bit though. Though like it seems as if like it's their views, but at times they kind of like pander a bit. I don't know how to explain it though. It seems like they're just anti woke or something like that, but they're not really. I don't know. I can't explain because they claim that they are actually a center left, but they're against wokeism or something. But sometimes they sound a bit. I can't explain, but they sound like they're trying to pander a bit.
Hmm.
I don't know, as in, how do you see them? Because at times they do go up on Ben Shapiro and Steve Crowder when
Are
it
you
gets
talking
too
about
much.
so what group you talking about again?
I'm talking about Aber and Fish here.
Oh, so you think so you asked me like what do I think their political views are?
Yeah,
I think they're pretty moderate for the most part.
yeah, yeah.
That's how I kind of view them. They don't come across to me as like far right or far left.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know their politics, of course, but they strike me as pretty moderate.
Yeah. Then then we've got the controversial Fresh and Fake guys.
Uh,
So, I don't know, I'm laughing because of you know everything that went down. They're still growing. And it's
that's
almost
what I
like
predicted. Actually, I said
yeah,
the rise, the fall, and likely revival of Fresh and Fit because
yeah.
I already
I
knew
remember.
subscribers have very short term memories, and not to mention
True,
they come in cycles. So they probably got a crop of subscribers who don't even know anything about the controversy, even though it just occurred a few months ago.
true, true, true. And y- I'm sure you've heard about fr- what's his name again? Fresh Fit, yeah. Fresh's new girlfriend or something. Miranda Tosana or something is the name.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
I see
yeah,
this stuff in passing. I don't really keep up with it because it just doesn't interest me.
there was a take they did with DJ academics and all. So I thought like maybe it got your interest or something.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I didn't watch it though, but I know what you're
Oh,
talking about. So
oh,
I'm subscribed to Duke and Don and Grind and Motivate because I saw Grind and Motivate when he had like 100 something subscribers, and I was like, man, this dude is really interesting, and that's literally how I keep up with some of the drama in the Red Pill.
man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Other than that, I am completely oblivious, and when I see, it, I don't follow everything because like the whole Brittany Renner crap, like I just don't care. And the only reason I don't care because anybody who's like around my age, you would
hmm,
know that women like her come and go. If you think of like the video vixens who were popular in the 2000s, you don't really see
absolutely.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all eventually come and go. So I don't really get why people are going that crazy
Oh,
over her.
I guess it's because of her looks and all, and her boldness.
Yeah, yeah,
Her
that's
boldness,
it.
she was openly displaying like she uses dumb athletes and all, and gets child support, even though she claims that she was capping and all. But
Even though 10 years from now, nobody will likely remember her though.
true, true, true.
That's why I don't get why people are like just, oh my goodness. I'm like, trust me, it's not
Yeah,
that
and the one
serious.
also. Yeah, and they want to also sell content because once you keep them angry and motivated, they go on the sub and all. They go on the sub to your Patreon and all.
Hmm.
I see that a lot, and also Myron Gaines. He runs an OnlyFans account. I think he claims that
A what
I don't know
account?
what he do on. Yeah, I don't know what he do on there, but people are saying that he kind of slips with girls on there and other stuff, so it makes them masturbate and all. For I I don't I
That's
don't
TMI for me.
I don't know. I'm sorry. It was doing one of those channels that was attacking them, so a lot of people were commenting like he has a OnlyFans account, so I had to watch some of his videos. Not his OnlyFans videos,
He
his
has one,
YouTube.
or does he have one, or people just assuming he has one?
As well. He says that he has one, and people should sub to it, but I've never seen a link or anything to it. But I've heard him say that he has a OnlyFans account. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was thinking like, do you notice like the Manosphere as a host? There's a couple of I don't want to call them a pun actor, but there's a couple of male sex workers that are kind of like given a pass in the manosphere, like as long as you're a man, you're given the pass. Example is Adam 22, no
Yeah, I've seen. I
and
don't
no
watch.
jumper.
I don't watch it, but I've seen some. I've seen several clips, but I don't like subscribe and watch it like that. But I know who he is.
Yeah, yeah. He invites a lot of manosphere guys because his views.
I've only seen him do two twice though.
Yeah, yeah. He's I think he's spoken with Abra and the other guy, Myron
Well,
Gaines.
ABBA's not. They're not. They're not Manosphere. He did Kevin
True.
Samuels and Fresh and Fit,
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
which they might
true.
have paid for that though, because I was like, normally they don't really. I mean, they had a lot of subscribers, but normally they don't really interview people like that. But I don't
True.
know.
So, what do you think about the space as a whole, as in both the white manosphere and the black manosphere and all those people like what do you think about them like right now?
Um, as a whole, that's a hard
Yeah,
question because that's just like general.
because
uh,
there's a lot of infighting going on right now.
that's
Um,
always been true, and they just exacerbated when when the space got more profitable. But
yes,
that's always been
yes,
true.
it's almost like it goes.
As a whole, I can't think of an opinion as a whole because I mean, I don't know what I can think of a whole.
Because the only thing I could think of is like it's almost like they're all serving an alt right agenda. There is no
There's
particular agenda. It's just like it's lucrative. Just it's like a lucrative business. Like you see a couple of gamers and all like, oh, okay, I need more subs, I need cash and all. I'm gonna change my views and try to be far right, so that these guys can listen to me and sub to my Patreon and all.
mhm.
Like that's how I see a bit of like there's an there's an umbrella, and the umbrella is the alt right. That's like how I see it. Then there are sub branches, like subreddit, but sub branches of the alt right. That's where you've got the MGTOW right wing gamers that always talk about politics and barely about games.
Yeah, I never
Uh,
understood that correlation between gaming and talking about politics. But
exactly,
that's
exactly.
literally how some people get into the far right politics through gaming channels.
Yes, I read about it in an article that it's very lucrative. Like it takes time, but if you're one of the top dogs, you do get a lot of money. Yeah, like
Yeah, it's
Birdman.
true. There's funny. It's like I follow like some nerd channels who talk about like like comic book films and other like nerdy stuff, and even then they'll
Yes,
just like insert the politics into it. And 9 times out of 10,
absolutely,
I don't even agree with what they say. But YouTube has always grab people on the political right have always gravitated to YouTube.
absolutely. And now there's a news channel called Forbes Breaking News. You see it popping up all the time. Like originally, they were in a kind of like their thumbnails is always like it seems now like it's getting more right wing, but I don't know where they stand. I see it a lot with the Forbes Breaking News. Like sometimes you get a recommendation, like I'm like, who are these guys though? Why, as you know, why are they always criticizing Biden? When you're looking at its thumbnails and what they're writing and all, it looks like they're tying them into like towards the right because they're trying to,
It
get.
it's
Um,
profitable. It was, don't get me wrong, I think it was worse when Trump was in office.
yeah,
'Cause, Biden just doesn't have he doesn't draw the same amount of, like, fear and paranoia as Obama did, first African American president, weird
yeah,
sounding name, uh, diverse background, but Biden just is plain boring politician, and I don't think people fear him as much as they did Obama. So, no, I
yeah,
think that was more profitable during the Obama-Trump era, but not now.
yeah. True, true. Because I've never actually seen myself as someone that can, I don't know, gravitate towards that. Because the far right views is too, I don't know, it's too offensive to put it mildly. Because there's some things they say that it's quite, I mean, it's not just the lies, it's just the way that they, uh, the way they express the lies. Like this is lies, but they make it seem like it's the truth. And anyone
Yeah,
that disagrees,
that's true, I agree. I don't really like their stance on race actually, 'cause,
hmm
one thing I study when you study history,
hmm
especially African Americans, they never had anything to gain from far right politics.
yeah, true,
'Cause it was all
true.
about upholding the status quo. That's why I get confused when I see people. I mean, now it's different if you're supporting, like, economic policies, but I could never identify that generally because 'cause I'm like, it never
Because they
provided
quote
any
a lot of
solutions when it comes to racial
true.
inequality.
Because they tend to quote a lot of Thomas Sowell. Because I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's great," this because he's
He's
the
he's a promoter of the culture of poverty theory, which pretty much explains poverty as a result of, like, personality deficiencies.
true.
That's why that's pretty much why they enjoy him, actually. I mentioned him in a video that I kinda almost finished with, like, briefly.
Yeah,
Thomas Sowell, in the larger context, he's part of this, like, rise of neoconservative black intellectuals because he used to be a Marxist and then he went to the political right in the 70s
yeah,
or 80s, I
yeah.
can't remember. But no, he's part of this, like, this small group of just, like, black public intellectuals who endorse the idea that, the greatest issue facing black people is the behaviors, nothing about racism, discrimination, which they believe existed, but it's not as much as an issue as it
It
was in the
is.
60s.
Yes, there's a couple of statements that he dropped. Like he said things like, "Once Trump loses, America's gonna get destroyed" or something like that. Like he kind of drops a bit of fear mongering, rhetoric, then tries to hide behind his intellect. Once in a while, he does a lot of he does a couple of few MAGA stuff though, like the
Mhm.
way he talks a bit, like or the statements there he drops a bit. It's like it makes you think like come on, you're better than this. You shouldn't say things like that will be the end of America once Biden is elected, or something like
It's
that.
just empty political fear mongering rhetoric.
Yes, yeah,
I've been hearing people because somebody study history. I've seen politicians say that since the 1920s that so and so destroyed this country. It's like, well, the
yeah,
United States is still here.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And what do you think about Leshania, the way she was kicked out of Wyoming Republican
I mean,
Party?
that just shows you how far the political right went, especially with its allegiance to Donald Trump. Because Liz Cheney is
Absolutely.
as conservative as it gets.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed a lot of guys in the manosphere shoved it aside, like nothing happened. Like I'm like, this woman is far more conservative than 90% of you guys, but they all pretended like nothing happened. Doesn't like it didn't happen. And that kind of pissed me off. Like you guys are always talking about blue pill this, liberal this, beta male this, same. But at the same time, this woman that's very conservative got kicked out of the party, and no one said a single word about it. It kind of says a lot. Like these guys are after the cash, and anything that that might disrupt that cash flow is
Well, you
quickly
know what happened to do you know Anthony Bryan Logan? He's like
and
this pretty famous black conservative on YouTube.
no, but I've heard
So
of the name, but
yeah, I was gonna say after the Capitol riots, he condemned it. and he actually lost subscribers, which I'm like, this dude is as conservative as it gets, to the point that I watch him sometimes for entertainment because I'm like, man, I do not agree with this dude at all, but it's just funny
Hmm.
what he believes. And even but he condemned, as he should have, the riots at the U.S. Capitol, and people literally were unsubscribing from him.
Wow, wow. That stuff happened to O'Shea, but due to O'Shea's race and because O'Shea subs are so low that he quickly got more subs back because he did criticize the Republicans, but that was the only time because all he does now is criticize the Democrats. But that was the only time he criticized the Republican Party after the January 6th riots. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, I'm guessing that Cantonese subs, most of them were white. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming they're probably mostly white, probably pretty diverse, but mostly white. That's what I would assume.
Because they have this kind of zero tolerance to their their black content creators. Like once they misbehave, they're out. Like they're done with it. Almost like Ben Shapiro because he's a Jew. I'm pretty sure that if he says something that's a bit
Hmm.
liberal or left, I'm pretty sure he's going to lose a lot of subs quickly. Yeah, because they kind of have.
Yeah, it's very it's kind of weird because like when I came on the platform, I wasn't too open because personally, you should never like disclose like your personal life on social media,
True,
primarily
true.
because people don't know how to handle that information.
Hmm.
But I do think it's important to be honest too. So I was always like, I'm on the political left, and I'm not shy about that. Because if you read my
Hmm.
writings, you'll know I'm on the political left.
Hmm. Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure there's some people who don't like me because I've seen comments saying like I'm too far left, which I always laugh because I'm kind of like center left. But like I said, in
true,
this
true.
space, you're like that's extreme to them.
Absolutely. And yet, most of them don't even talk about conservative, physical values or no. It's always based on
No, it seemed like they're
anti-race.
more. It seemed like they're more conservative when it comes to social issues.
Exactly, exactly. Because they don't talk about economy this kind of stuff. It's always about anti-women, this or the Bitcoin, anti-race, anti-this, attack the left, attack the Democrats. Like it's always social, like you say. So I mean, and I've been wondering, do you think the subs like kind of know that these people are like they're being used by by their content creators or they don't care?
Uh, I think it's the latter because some people do watch the content strictly for entertainment purposes.
Yeah,
So, because I do see people who like, they vehemently disagree with like the conservatism that exists in the space. But yeah, I don't think some people think they're being used. I don't think they really care.
true. So okay, I wanted to ask about um Kevin Samuels because there's okay there's a couple of videos he's dropping about the winter is coming and all.
Mhm.
Okay, with the way things are going on, who do you think is going to be the next Kevin Samuels? Like, because a lot of people are copying his winter is coming.
I have no idea. I think the next one just might come out of nowhere.
Mhm.
It's kind of hard. I don't know. Like, I think because Kevin Samuels came out of nowhere. Yeah, I think the
True.
next one will just like they'll just emerge because Kevin saying he's gonna eventually people are gonna drop out because like as the reasons I stated before, but also he's like he's approaching his mid-50s, so eventually people are gonna just see him as like too old
Yeah.
and but I don't know people generally don't like getting dating advice from people much older than them. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that's just the truth. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to last for because I do see his view. He don't get as many views anymore, but I don't know when it's officially going to be like, okay, like this isn't as because even people who like him, I've heard them say that his content gets old after a while.
True. True.
That's why I don't watch him because I'm like, I've seen 3 episodes and I'm like, it's kind of the same stuff.
True. And what do you think about the black women that come to his shows? Do you think they do you think they I don't know like they're trying to shoot their shots like trying to get noticed or is it like inferiority
I don't
complex?
know. I don't watch the show enough to comment on that.
Mhm.
'Cause somebody left a comment like let me try to see, can I pull it up? It was a comment left a while ago about, like, the people who call into his show and what they're, like, trying to do. I do remember them alluding to that. Some people call just to debate, other people
Yeah,
call to get like I guess like tokenism from men, or sometimes just like non-black women call
absolutely.
to get tokenism too. Wait, let me see. I have the video. It was an interesting comment because I'm like I don't watch the show enough to know why people call or not. Oh, there it is. Let me try to get to it. Did I pin it? Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, let me read it to you. Yeah, I pinned this on the what's the video title called again? Oh, why do men love Kevin Samuels? And she said some of the women call in because they want to change the mind of these men. Some call in because they want to be that token black girl that is deemed to not be like what these men say they are. Some women call in because they are naively thinking he can help because of that high value men title. They quickly see that his definition is subjective to him and his community. The majority of the men call in just for the degradation of black women, period. Nothing more, nothing less. I'll say maybe 2% of those men want to meet his definition of high value. The non-black women usually there because they get an ego boost of both the sexes fighting and get a space to say something low-key racist and mess up things about black women and the black community. There are literally two that I've seen so far that happen to be older that actually seem to want some advice. My guess is because Kevin is their type physically.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, he doesn't represent that title himself. He doesn't live that life. The woman he has been with don't represent what high value men seek. Every woman guess is the exact opposite of what he say a high value man want. Yet he bring them on, having them talking to women. The men are the exact opposite of what he deems as high value by his standards.
Absolutely.
Except like Ike. Oh, except Ike. You know that Ike, the dude that he's like sending $500 cash apps.
Oh,
Yeah, she
okay,
put
yeah,
she put accept
yeah.
Ike the life. That's probably the only one I can say match what Kevin Samuel high value is. He's like the
Okay,
Tommy
he's
the
the guy
dating
that.
scene. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ike Ogre. I can't pronounce his last name, but he came out of nowhere. He was just like giving these $500 donations. And
Oh,
when you super chat, your comment stays up for a certain period of time, so everybody would
yeah.
see it. And he did it multiple times per day. It's like holy crap.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I think he kind of bought his way into the space.
Yeah. And that's quite rare to see those kind of guys do that, because of most of his supporters, like you say, is quite the opposite of what he preaches. Because I noticed, like, I don't really see high value men talk about Kevin Samuels. It's like he's non-existent in that realm. But he always talks about the criteria to be a high value man. You've got to be accepted by high value men and make at least $10,000 a month or something like that. But it
Yeah,
seems like
true. But
yeah.
I mean, if you're one of the problems I have with that, and a friend of mine's, a pen pal of
Mm-hmm,
mine's in the UK alluded to this. It's like if you're talking about African Americans in the United States, well, North America in general, even Canada,
mm-hmm,
you're talking about a minute segment of the population that reach
right.
that definition.
Yeah, and they don't even pay attention to Kevin Samuels. Huh?
No, that's why I always kind of laugh at it because I'm like, almost nobody, people who do meet that definition wouldn't even have the time to tune in like that. Or if they
Absolutely.
do, they're likely married with kids. 'Cause the people I know who fit that definition already are married with, already have kids and a wife.
Mm-hmm. And the ones that don't fit the criteria, they most of them are just doing it because of their resentment of being rejected by women in their lives, or being
Yeah,
down on.
yep,
So
yep. I've seen
so
married men watch it and they just get it. It's really almost like retribution for past
yeah,
rejections, which I never
absolutely.
understood. I never been able to relate to because one, every guy gets rejected, but I just never
Yeah.
held that much contempt for women. Like I don't even remember a lot of women who rejected me. And actually, the ones who did, I'm actually good friends with them, so I don't really, I just don't get it.
Because the few that rejected me, because I didn't ask a lot of them out, so the few that rejected me, I'm like, I don't really hold a resentment towards them. But there's a lot of men that talk about it. I'm like, I don't like. Okay, I don't understand why they're doing it. I'm like, you're not the one that has a physical problem, so I don't understand the reason why they have the resentment. That's why I do understand that some of them have this kind of psychological insecurity and all. So and they get a lot of emotional. I don't want to say that they're like they're on the spectrum and all. But I do get the reason why some of them behave the way they do, but it's still
Yeah,
not
but
an
after a
excuse.
certain,
It's still not an excuse to hate women, you know.
I will say after a certain age, you should really get over that.
True, true. I'm quite surprised that I got over mine in my early 20s, though. But the way, you know, but the way a lot of these guys talk about women, like, and the government, because they blame the black pill blames the government more than they blame women at
Oh,
times.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Um, there's a guy called Hold the Troop Hostage. He took over.
Yep,
Well,
I've heard of him. I think he took over that whole black
yeah, absolutely.
pill
Yeah,
truth.
he's the one that kind of pushed that agenda of mental of dictionary, like the
Yeah,
government is
didn't he
behind
try to write a
conspiracy.
didn't he try to write a book?
Oh,
I remember
I
reading it,
think
and I'm
so.
just like, man, the writing here is really bad, but that's all I remember.
Oh, I've ignored. Like I haven't spoken to the guy like in almost 2 months now here because
Oh,
of
okay. He's
it
like a
got a bit.
dude with dreads, right? He had dreadlocks.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Like sometimes they get belligerent. Like if you don't agree with what they say to the T, they say again like it's about the the gold pill and the platinum pill. Like I don't do this stuff though. It's a bit cringy. So I kind of like stayed off because they get a bit aggressive. Once you don't believe in what they believe in, they see you like an enemy, almost like a Jehovah Witness kind of stuff. So I kind of backed off though a bit because
Hmm.
it got a bit toxic. And now I see a couple of that in the red pill. It just happens to be the red pill are more diverse than the black pill.
Hmm.
And with the way things are going, do you see the cash flowing out? Like, do you see like I don't know how to put this. Like, do you see YouTube ever clamping down on the alt right or something like that? Like,
I mean, they've
because
been to that. It's just
mm-hmm,
people just learned how to write stuff in code. Because it's funny about the whole like YouTube stuff. I hear people always saying like, "You guys got to stop because YouTube's going to shut all this down." I'm like, dude, there's like
mm-hmm,
2,000 people who work at YouTube,
yeah,
and they don't have offices like spread out across the country. It's literally like in the Silicon Valley, and that's really it. They do not watch. The only time YouTube intervenes if it's a huge content creator who has an issue. Other than that,
yeah,
they're not going to just come across a channel that has like a couple hundred subscribers and terminate it. That just doesn't happen.
no, 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 and algorithm it doesn't really work like the way it was programmed to. At times, like at times, at times you get banned for absolutely doing nothing because things like you're a bot or you're a spam or something like that. Then at times you see a couple of nudity, like not just nudity though, but you see a couple of also violent videos that don't get that not that like nothing happens to it. But when you see a smaller channel put something similar, they get you know they they get it banned or something like that. So I know like the larger you are and the more traffic you draw, the less likely they're gonna try to shut down your channel or something like that. Did you
Hmm.
notice that with big content creators? Some of them
Some of the what?
like some like the big content creators. Some of them post a couple of violent videos, but YouTube tend to overlook the videos though. I don't know like why. I don't know why they do. Like I know it's about their clout and all, but some of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
videos.
the bigger you are, you can kind of get away with more stuff. I mean, don't get me
Hmm.
wrong. I've seen because I do follow like big channels on my personal YouTube channel, which I don't create
Hmm.
content. I just follow stuff, and I've seen people with over 1 million subscribers get like strikes and stuff like that.
Hmm. Wow.
So, yeah, that nobody's immune from that. I think sometimes in the whole manosphere, I think a lot of people develop a delusion of grandeur, where they
Hmm.
think they're more significant than they actually are, especially on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I see that a lot with O'Shea. Like the guy is so obsessed with traffic and subs though. Like he always drops his no talent explicit words that like in his mind is like you have to have 40,000 or 50,000 subs before I can even think about it. You have to do it's like he's so obsessed with the sub stuff. Like it's almost like
That's not just this space I've seen. Do you remember? I don't know if you ever saw the YouTuber Rice Gum.
I know about him, but I've never watched his
Oh, okay,
videos.
he was so obsessed with like subscribers. Like he would just make
Hmm.
fun of people who. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes he'll make fun of people who had like 1 million subscribers.
Yeah,
But even though sometimes the people with less subscribers than him had got more views than he did.
oh, I see that also with Steve Crowder. The, there was a label guy he kind of attacked that had 1 point something million subs. So he was kind of talking down on the guy because he wanted to
Hmm.
debate Peyton, but Peyton wanted the other guy to debate Steve Crowder. So that was the first time I've seen someone as large as Steve Crowder like talk down on others based on their
Yeah, so I
sub.
just had to say that because people will do that all the time on YouTube. What's kind of
Hmm.
interesting is sometimes I'll get people who will comment on my channel wanting to debate me, and I was like, I
Hmm.
don't even know who you are. And one
Hmm.
guy tried to shame me because I'm like, hey, dude, even if I did it, like nobody would watch it. He's like, well, I didn't know you were like that. In my head, I'm like, well, the way interviews work is like the person has to invite you. You don't invite yourself.
Yeah,
And it just wouldn't, and literally it wouldn't get any views because people are just not going to watch somebody they never heard of who doesn't even make content.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
just
see that
kinda
also.
even the last interview I did, which don't get me wrong, Docs, he's a cool guy, but it took me a
Hmm.
while to do the interview because I didn't know what to talk about, and I kinda knew
Hmm.
it wasn't gonna get watched because people just don't know who he is.
True, true. Yeah, true. Because a lot of this stuff is it's kind of like the more they grow, the more the more people gravitate to around that particular person.
Mhm.
Kind of kind of like um kind of like grind and motivate. Grind and motivate. Like like he's growing now.
Mhm.
He could drop a couple of live stream and you're going to see his subs or some gravitate around him.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has to start from
Yeah,
somewhere. So
yeah.
I will never crap on a channel for like just starting off because I'm like everybody starts off with 0. In fact, it took me so my first channel when I abandoned it, I had it for
Mhm.
like several months and only had like 250 subs. It was
Wow.
not it was not a lot. This one grew faster, but even then it was frustrating to start from like scratch.
Hmm.
And, gradually it built, and I mean, I think if I was really active, I could add more, but I just get, this topic doesn't really interest me that much. That's why I don't want to continue it. But I think I built a pretty sizable subscriber base and within a
Yeah,
year, even though I don't even put as much effort into it as I used to.
yeah. Because but when I try talking about the manosphere stuff, because of my views and all, people don't really people don't really listen that much, and when they do, they always try to make it seem like I'm like I'm not red pill enough or something like
I
that.
would say, like, my advice to you is, so one thing I see a lot is kinda confuse me. So channels that start out, they start doing live streams, and sometimes they
Mhm,
last for a long time, and it's kinda weird to do that when you don't have an audience yet, because most people are not gonna
mhm,
tune into somebody they never, like, encountered,
mhm,
from the get-go. So I always think, like, pre-recorded content is, like, much better when you're starting out before you jump into doing, like, live streams or
live
especially
stream.
long live streams.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's just my, word of advice because I think a lot of time people look at oftentimes people try to use the, manosphere as a blueprint to build a channel
Mhm.
when that's probably not even how the person, like, started out.
True.
So, yeah, that's just me, like, I didn't start doing live streams until I refused to do it, but it's when I wanna do an interview series, and I had, like, over 1,000, and that's when I
Oh,
started doing live streams. Yeah, I was already monetized when I started doing it.
oh, you so you have to have like 1,000 subs before you can
No, no,
monetize.
you can live stream anytime you. Oh no, yeah. So the rule to get monetize that you have to have at least 4,000 watch hours
Oh,
and 1,000 subscribers. Now, a lot of people do live streams because that's a really easy way to get the watch time. I got monetized just strictly with pre-recorded content.
oh.
So it's possible as long as you're making like as long as you're putting good stuff out there.
Yeah, because I noticed some of my videos get more views than the others, and normally it's like it's the ones that I don't pay attention to. Like the ones that I'm like,
Oh, that's you're probably hitting the algorithm then.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
But
gotta
the
if
but the ones that spend like 20 minutes or 30 minutes on, those ones are usually ignored, like only 60 views or 40 views or something like that. But the ones I'm not paying attention to get like 6 times, or 8 times, or even 14 times that much.
yeah,
And
like some of my most watched videos were the ones I didn't even think were gonna do all that good.
yeah. So what's your advice on how to grow a channel though? Like,
What's my advice to grow a channel?
yeah, uh,
Patience is one. It's you're not. I mean, I think too many people want overnight success, and that's just not how it works.
absolutely, yeah, true, true,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
not to mention everybody's path isn't your path. So I think some
Hmm.
people looked at like Fresh and Fit, and they grew. I mean, they grew quickly within a year.
Yeah,
But they had a unique path, but everybody isn't going to grow that fast.
true.
Like I think like O'Shea Dude Jackson, he only had like 2,000 subscribers like by his second year on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. So patience is one. Also learn how YouTube works. So one thing I see a lot of people in the space is I can look at somebody's channel and I can immediately tell that they don't know how YouTube works. Because for one, they have really badly worded titles. They don't have branding. So branding is pretty much so when you make they say a thumbnail and a title go hand in hand. They're adjacent.
hmm
So
hmm
okay, you don't want to put everything in a title, you don't want to put everything in a thumbnail, but you can actually have a working like tangent with one another. But branding is when people can look at a thumbnail and they already know, like, oh, this is from so and so channel. So if you look at like
oh,
O'Shea Duke Jackson, you see how he uses the same kind of text.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and if you look
Mhm.
at my channel, you kind of realize how I always have my logo at the bottom left side of the thumbnail.
Mhm. Oh, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I even use the same kind of text too, but most people recognize my videos from like the logo I put on the bottom left hand corner.
Mhm,
Branding and also a channel banner. Like a channel banner, if you look at mine, it should pretty much tell you like what the channel's about
mhm,
without somebody having to go to the about page. There are plenty of YouTube channels you can go to where people will teach you how to operate YouTube and how it works. That's where I
mhm.
went. I started following channels that taught me how YouTube functions, and that's how I modeled my channel off of.
Oh,
Yep. So yeah, that's that. Man. Like I said, I can look at somebody's channel, I can tell immediately, like, man, they do not know how this. I mean, don't get if you don't want to, if you're not trying to build an audience, then it doesn't matter. But if you are,
mhm,
then you're gonna have to, find a creative lane. Actually, that's actually my most important piece of advice is to find your voice. I think too many
mhm,
people try to sound like others, especially people
mhm,
who are popular. But no, you got
mhm.
to be unique and like just like in business, you got to carve out a unique lane. So
True.
when I created my channel, there's plenty of people who criticize the manosphere, but I didn't see anybody like making pre-recorded content within a short period of time that's
Mhm,
like heavily edited. I didn't see anybody doing that, especially the topics I was talking about.
mhm. Because
So yeah,
those guys, when they do attack the manosphere, it's usually
live streams.
yeah, and tad homes and all. Yeah,
Yeah, I do hate that. A lot of people don't really approach it from like intellectual perspective. They kind of just resort to like juvenile tactics.
yeah.
So yeah, that was me. I kind of look, like anytime you make a YouTube channel or even a business, you always want to give a survey of the landscape and see like how can you insert yourself in here with
Mhm,
your own unique approach to the topic. And mine was like, it's kind of sad that pre-recorded content was unique, but I'm like, people in the space just don't do a lot of pre-recorded content, and when they do, it's not interesting to look at.
mhm. Because I noticed a couple of people they kind of focus on what like the words they use I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like sounding I don't know, like being a bit too harsh, like trying to sound offensive. Some they believe like that, like that's the way to go. But I've never seen it that that way.
Mhm.
like trying to sound like Fresh and Fit or those kind of folks like. But Fresh and Fit, what will help the content is those girls they're bringing on because without the girls they usually get 40 to 50,000 views alone. But once those girls are on board, they get up to 200 to 500,000 views and all. So I noticed like you said, there's a particular brand and all, and the brand is like bringing in those girls from Miami streets and all, and nightclubs and all.
Hmm.
While while Aber and Precious brand is like they themselves are their own brand, like you know, like the way the way they approach topics, their views, their points, and all. It's not like it's not necessarily like they're sounding too one sided.
Hmm.
So I see that a lot. Some people are more or less intellect, and the others are like more like just their surroundings is what actually boosts them up, like Fresh and Fit, yeah.
Hmm.
Then if you were like by luck, I don't know. I don't know if it's luck or something, but or timing, because at times I see people that don't really have great content, but yet they have a lot of subs and all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's common. I think in the manosphere, like, as one person told me, there's a 3,000 cap in subscribers. So there's like, let's say it's around 3,000 people who are like hardcore followers of the manosphere, and they're going to subscribe to people no matter what.
Hmm.
But once they get there, then everything else is like organic. Then they got to build like an audience from scratch.
True.
So that's why, and that's why you see people who, their content's not good. They don't put any kind of effort into their channel, and they still have like several thousand subscribers. I think, I would, no offense, but I think Jessica X is like that. Like, I don't find her content interesting, but she was able to build a subscriber base by going after popular female YouTubers.
True.
Because
True.
before she grew pretty fast, largely because of her avatar, which is kind of sad but true. But she didn't really explode until she started feuding with Shira Seven and
China
the
White.
Pink Pill. No, China White's not that popular to build a get more subscribers. It was more like the Pink Pill. What's the colorism girl? I
Um.
forget. I forget her name, but Shira said people who had over 100,000 subscribers. I'll say that.
Oh yeah. And I think she's still losing a lot of subs after she got a divorce or something.
After she got what?
Uh, Divorce or something.
Who you talking about?
Carrison.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't watch her stuff like that. I mean, she
Yeah.
kind of, she seems like, I mean, personally, like, if you met her in person, she comes across to me as like a really nice, genuine woman. But I do think she has a lot of like severe issues that she should keep private, but sometimes comes out on social media.
True, true. It seems like a lot of her friends rather out. I see that with Saint G too. She trusts a lot of black women, and they tend to expose her a lot.
Well, I think
On,
Cynthia G plays it safe by not having panels because I've had people tell me like, I should have live streams. I'm like, that's where a lot of the drama starts. And I don't, and I personally, I can't stay on a live stream for more than an hour and a half because I'll start getting bored.
true.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
People can do it, but I can't. I can't look at an avatar for an hour and a half.
okay, so because of because of personal issues, I don't usually use my face on
Oh
live
no, I
stream.
was talking about you. I was talking about like, people wanting me to host panels. I'm like, a lot of people in the space don't even show their face, and even if they
Yeah,
did, I still would get bored because I can't. That's not something I could do every now and then.
true, true.
But no, yeah, I know it's okay. I know some people. I had people when I interviewed them. They asked me. I told them it was optional because I knew if I said you had to show your face, I already knew a lot of people wouldn't talk to me because
Mm,
their privacy is essential. But to me, it's much better when you can see the person's face because I think it's more interesting for the viewers, and I like to look at body language
oh, yeah, I get it. I get.
and
Yeah,
facial
I get.
expressions too.
Mm-hmm. Maybe eventually along the line, I'm going to try to show my face once in a while. Yeah,
No,
because
I do it. I don't say anything controversial. And that's why I don't mind doing it. And
Mhm.
I was just thinking, like, as a view, I would try to put myself in the viewer's shoe. I'm like, would I want to look at somebody's face, or would I want to look at like just an avatar? And I'm like, the former is much more interesting.
Mhm. True. Yeah, true. I totally understand you on that on that one. Okay. Is there any final words you want to say, or on a particular YouTuber you want to talk about before?
Um, no, I can't think of anything. Like the only thing I was it was just yesterday. I was just thinking about the whole like Brittany Renner stuff, and I'm just like, I don't see why
Hmm.
people are obsessed. She's not going to be relevant later in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she's attractive. I'm not gonna lie, because she's we were born the same year, so I think she's like a few months younger than me.
Mhm.
But like I said, a couple of years from now, people just won't even be talking about her because when it comes to that kind of line of work, women in that line of work age fast. Like by the time they're
True.
mid-30s, they're considered old.
True. True. And then there's a there's a younger one to replace her and all that.
Yeah, there's always somebody that's going to replace them.
That's crazy. Okay. Thank you for coming on the stream, Tyron.
No
I
problem.
appreciate
No problem. And I say have a good day. It's pretty cloudy
it.
over here. So
You too.
all right.
Thanks. Thanks a
All right.
lot.
All right. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Up. Okay. Bye.